I'm now missing a stopwatch in my Swiss Army knife, and that's what I'm going to do today. And in order to do that, I'll have to manipulate the HTML, so I'll have to create items dynamically and create and remove them. So, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by creating a component. It will be the time tracker, and it's going to be added multiple times, added and removed from the UI, and that's a little bit tricky. So actually what I want to do is to have a stopwatch. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use a stopwatch, and I'm going to get the time that has already expired, or the time that has run to a certain point. And the way to do this, to format it, is like this, which is not so important, but it's not exactly like in the with times, date times. So, and for this I'll need to create a stopwatch, and it's going to be private. It can also be done with timers, but I find this way better. So I now have the stopwatch, and it should be enough to start. I'm going to do a page, and it's going to be called trackers, because I'm going to be tracking several trackers, or that's the objective. And to do this, I'll need to do something. I'm going to create a dictionary that is going to hold the time trackers, and I'll call it my trackers, and it's going to be initialized like this. And what I have to do is that when I override the uninitialized method, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a tracker to it. So I can do an add tracker method, and it's just my trackers, and then I'll need an ID. They have to be identifiable. So is new time tracker, and so I'll need an ID here, and I'll need the tracker itself. So I can see that I need an ID, so I'm going to create an ID on the other side. And in this case, I'm just going to by default create a new one. New GUID, like this, so that I can identify the trackers. And now I'm going to do a for each, in which I'll iterate through the IDs. And to do that, I'll just get the keys from the dictionary. And what I'm going to do is to do a time tracker here, and use the keyword ref to reference from my trackers. I need my trackers, and then by using the ID I can reach this tracker. So this should be enough to get to the tracker that I'm going to add. So I'm going to add a tracker, and something that is missing is that I'm going to have to start to do to check every now and then what is the time from the of the stopwatches. So in order to do that, I'm going to do a I'm going to start a task, and since JavaScript is single-threaded, it doesn't really matter. These tasks will be inserted in the message queue, and there is a message pump, so it will run asynchronously but not parallel. And here I'm just going to say task delay for 1 second. I can also do a time span from seconds and say just 1 second. And after that I'm going to say my trackers. So I'm going to go to all the trackers that I have at the moment, and I'm going to go for each of them, and I'm going to say dot update, and it should update its display time. So if I'm going now to the update method here, it's just going to do state as changed, so that Blazor knows that it should redraw this tracker. So this will be a start, and I'll now need to go to the menu and add this entry. I can call it stopwatches, but it's going to be called trackers, I think, or just use the same name. So let's see how it looks at the moment. It's throwing an exception, and the problem is that input string was not so I made a mistake of obviously in the here in the time that should be in the format, yes. So now I copied from some notepad, and now it should work. So I didn't start the tracker, so it's not going to do anything. So what I can do is that I want to start the tracker now. So I'm going to come here to the time tracker itself, and I'm going to add some buttons so that I can start it and stop it. So I'm going to do a new button that is just going to have one click. What it's going to do is that it just goes to the stopwatch and says start, and it's going to be called start, and the same for stop and reset. Stop, and the same for reset. So this should be enough. And if I start it again, it should be possible to start it, the only stopwatch that I have at the moment. So if I now click start, it doesn't do anything. So the problem is that it's not updating. As you can see here, it's actually tracked the time, but only at the stop it then showed something. And I think I know where the problem is. And the problem is here, because it only does it once. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to do a while true. Should probably stop at some point when the page is disposed or something, but this should solve the problem for now. So it's just going to repeat this forever and should update accordingly. Yes. So now we can see that the tracker is working. So there are some. So if I want to add some more, I would now come here to the trackers page, And in this page I'm just going to add a button here, and in this button I would just say add tracker, and on click it's just going to add a tracker because I already have the method here to add a tracker. And so if we now check it, we should be able to add more trackers. Yes, doesn't look so nice, but you can see that it's working. So, and what I can do now is that I want to add a button to remove them, because now we are adding them, so I will want to remove them. And to do that I'm going to create two divisions here. One of them will be the tracker and the second one will be the button that is going to delete the tracker. And it's going to be a button, and it's going to be dangerous because we are removing something. So, and here on click, in order to do this, I'm just going to go to my trackers and removing it by the ID, and it's called remove. And I can just do exactly the same here with this button so that it looks a bit better. And I'm going also to add a margin here so that we can see the separation between them. This is a margin top. So if I now come here and add trackers, and then I can also remove them. I think I also didn't try this reset. I can try stopped and reset and start it again. And then probably I would want to have some names here so that I know what I'm tracking. So in order to do that, I'm going to do a input of type text, and it's going to have a title, and it's just going to be called title. Yes. So if I start it again, now I'm going to be able to give some descriptions and to be able to track multiple things simultaneously. So I can just start tracking work, or I can start tracking browsing, or something else. Yes, that's it, and you can also remove them. That's it for today. If you liked the video, please give me some comments. I'm happy to receive the first comment. And that's it. Bye.